Alright, what's up guys? So recently I posted a video about this guy, Steven, hitting 40k MRR from his apartment. And although the story is true, it is a bit misleading because what you're watching is really not a playbook. It's kind of a highlight reel with the hard parts edited out. So I want to reframe Steven's puck count story the way founders actually experience it. Not as a clean 3-step path, but kind of as a messy chain of events, timing, and execution that mostly people underestimate. So if you've ever watched a video like this and thought, but why doesn't it work when I do it? That's pretty good because that's exactly what we're talking about here, guys. So I want to start with the headline. Success has nothing to do with coding. Sure, sometimes, but that line's kind of like saying winning has nothing to do with running because you watched someone dunk a basketball. So I want to say, guys, coding isn't the whole game, but it's also not irrelevant. It's just that in mobile apps, distribution punishes average execution way harder than SaaS does. And I know you do get a push on the App Store in the very beginning, but majority of the time you get silence, guys, like page 500 silence. So when you see someone go from 0 to 44k MRR and exit, the real question is not what framework did they use. The real question is what did they already have that made the framework work? Because guys, frameworks don't print money, they just organize decisions, and if the inputs are weak, the framework becomes a very neat way to fail. So one insight I want to give you guys is market research is not the same thing as copying viral TikToks. And in the story, phase 1 sounded clean when I made that video, which is go to TikTok, search keywords, sort by most liked, put links in a spreadsheet, identify hooks, storyline, CTAs, recreate formats. And that sounds like science, but what's really happening is taste plus pattern recognition plus selection pressure. And the part that hits people in the face later is if you're not already good at content, guys, analyzing hooks doesn't magically make you good at content. It's like pausing NBA games and taking notes on footwork, then wondering why you still get cooked at the park. So the spreadsheet helps organize what you see, but it doesn't give you the instinct that you get over time of marketing of what actually grabs attention in your niche on that platform or in that moment. And also sorting by most liked all the time is kind of a trap as well, because those videos are often from a different era of the algorithm, posted by creators with momentum, boosted by trends that don't exist anymore, or tied to accounts that already had reach. So guys, when someone says just filter by most liked and recreate, what they're actually assuming is you already understand what's transferable and what's not. So most founders copy the surface layer when they see these videos, guys. So a lot of you beginners might dunk the vape in the water like he did, but you missed the real hook, which is the pacing, the tension, the this is my life and I'm losing vibe that makes people watch. So you can recreate the prop, but just not the psychology. So if you're a beginner, you'll probably just recreate the prop when you search through the famous TikTok videos and not necessarily the psychology. So insight number 2, guys, is the story skips the ugly part, which is volume is easy to say, but hard to live. And there's the quote that you guys hear all the time, which is volume negates luck. And it's true, but it's also kind of incomplete because volume doesn't just mean posting daily. Volume means you're signing up for weeks where nothing hits, videos you're embarrassed to post, the mental whiplash of a good idea flopping, or the temptation to change directions every 48 hours. And most founders don't fail because they don't know what they should post. They fail because they can't stay consistent while feeling stupid. And the story kind of makes consistency sound like a light switch, which is just post every day. Don't be a perfectionist, recreate what pops. But guys, in real life, your first pop might take 60 posts and your first pop might not convert, or it might attract the wrong audience, or it might be a one-time trend that is not replicable or scalable. So you end up with the most common founder situation, which is you're getting views, but your installs don't move, or you're getting installs, but they don't pay, or they pay but churn instantly, or the ads work until the platform changes something and you're back in the mud. So those problems are not solved by post more, they're solved by understanding what part of the funnel is broken. And ironically, the story says everything is a funnel, but it doesn't show the part where founders diagnose funnels wrong for months, which is they tweak hooks when retention is the issue, they tweak onboarding when positioning is the issue, they tweak ads when pricing is the issue. So they're busy but not effective. And insight number 3, guys, is the scale winners with paid ads part hides the real bottleneck, which is tracking and economics. This is where the story kind of gets dangerous because it drops numbers like CAC around $20 to $24, LTV around $55 to $70, 82K total ad spend, profitable almost instantly, and the 3-to-1 CAC to LTV is a money printer. And if you're watching this as a builder, your brain kind of goes, okay, step number 1, make viral TikToks. Step number 2, run ads. Step number 3, profit. But the part that decides whether that math is real is the least sexy part, which is measurement, attribution, and payback time. So the things that they don't know is LTV, what LTV looks like by cohort, how refunds affect it, how platform attribution lies, sometimes innocently, sometimes aggressively, whether their $70 LTV is only true for their first 200 customers, or whether scaling changes their traffic quality. And because this guy was on mobile, if your measurement is wrong, you don't lose a little money. You can pretty much light 5 figures on fire fast and still think you're winning because installs look healthy. So when the story says get an app like Adjust or Apps Flyer, that's not a side note, that's pretty much the whole game, guys, because the whole saying of like paid ads work is not a universal truth. Paid ads work when the event you optimize for matches your business reality, the funnel doesn't leak in 5 different places, your creative isn't just attention grabbing but intent building, and your unit economics survive scaling. So this is why 2 founders can run the same framework and get opposite outcomes. So I'll compare it like this. One founder has a product that retains, a niche with urgent pain, creative that attracts the right users, tracking that's clean, and the patience to iterate. But on the flip side, the other founder has a product people try once, a vague nice to have niche, creative that attracts freebie lurkers, or messy tracking and they panic after 10 days. It's the same framework, guys, but a different reality. So this is the pattern you see again and again, guys. People fall in love with the narrative, marketing first, viral validation, 10-minute method, and all this stuff from apartment to 50 million views, turn $1 into, but they miss the boring truth, and a lot of you guys miss it too, which is most wins are not a secret tactic. They're a bunch of small things done correctly for long enough. So yes, Steven's story is useful, guys, but only if you watch it the right way. It's not like give me the steps. It's more like, what assumptions is this story making about my situation? Because if you don't have those assumptions, guys, copying the visible movements won't help. It will just make you feel like you're doing the right things while nothing moves. And that's the most dangerous place to be, which is busy, hopeful, but ultimately wrong. So I want you guys to ask this question. It's a bit uncomfortable, but if you've been building and watching SaaS content for months, maybe years, and you still can't consistently get users, you guys need to ask this question. Is it possible the problem is not effort? Or is it possible you're missing structure? I'm not talking about more motivation. I'm not talking about more hacks, just the right order of problems, because most people are trying to solve problem number 7, but problem number 2 is still broken. And videos like we watch in the community accidentally encourage that. So they make it look like the path is easy, which is research, post, ads, exit. But for most founders, the real path is confusion, random execution, inconsistent signals, wrong conclusions, and then burnout. So if you're watching Steven's story and you're feeling like 2 things at once, which is this is exciting, or number 2, this feels too clean, that's kind of a healthy reaction, because the goal isn't to dunk on the story, it's to stop letting stories hypnotize you guys. So you want to use those stories like data, which is what parts are repeatable, what parts demand on timing, what parts depend on being unusually good at content, what parts depend on having clean tracking and real unit economics, and what parts depend on a niche with obvious pain and emotion. Because if you think about it, guys, quit vaping is not just a niche, it's emotion, it's identity, it's shame, it's relapse, it's community. And when you're making an app, that is rocket fuel for short form content, and a random app in a calm niche doesn't get that for free. So if your app isn't naturally emotional, you have to be smarter about what your content is actually doing when you post it, and that's where most founders quietly get stuck. So guys, this is the key moment I want you guys to take away. That story was not marketing first. The real story is distribution rewards people who can repeatedly create proof of attention and proof of conversion. And if you can't do both, you don't have a business yet, you have a project. And that's not an insult, that's just the scoreboard in reality. So the bigger takeaway for that video, guys, is a clean playbook type story can still hide the hardest parts, which is what's actually transferable, what's timing dependent, what's execution dependent, and what's being conveniently simplified for a video. So if you watch these stories like entertainment, you'll stay entertained, but if you watch them kind of like a diagnosis, you'll start spotting what you've been missing. So if you're someone who's just watching and learning, that's fine, but if you're watching this and you're building and you're also stuck, there's a link in the description below. That's it for today's video, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.